Hi guys and ladies, welcome back to the channel. My name is Lisema Matsietsi, and on this video we're doing the last portion of the type of company. This one is called a not-for-profit company, an NPC, non-profit company or a non-profit organization. We're going to be discussing who can open it up, how many people are required to open it up. Does it seem like all the other companies where you can create some assets and transfer them to yourself? If you want to find out all of that, stay tuned for the rest of this video. Thank you very much for always being here, finding out what I found out when I was registering the company. And here we're going to be talking about the 16 type of differences that makes the NPC to stand out from there. We'll start with the incorporation, the definitions, registration, place of business, all the way to keeping the company records and regulatory body. But before we go in there, let's just start with a little disclaimer first. The disclaimer here that we have is that this video is for general information only and does not constitute legal advice. It is advised that you should seek your own professional advice on any concerns. Now that we took that one out of the way, let's start first by the first thing. We're looking at what is the definition of NPC. And it looks like the definition here, it says a not-for-profit business is a not-for-profit business which was previously known as a Section 21 company. I know a lot of schools have registered as Section 21, and if you take your child to a Section 21 school, you can claim that from your tax type of a thing. And I know a lot of organizations have previously registered as Section 21, and this NPC is the same as what it was as part of the Section 21. Still the same thing. It must have a public benefit as its objective or an objective relating to cultural, social, communal, or group interest. That's the whole core of this NPC. It must be something else that benefits group of people, not just one individual. Income and property may not be distributed to its members, directors, incorporators, or officers. So, if you want to create something as a legacy for you and your kids, or something else for you to keep on the side, it looks like an NPC might not be the right way. This is where the community comes together to say we're going to be creating a school patrol, we're going to be creating a community forum, we're going to be creating something that benefits the community for our kids when they finish up school. Then this becomes a perfect vehicle for you to use that. The second thing that we're going to be looking at when you're going to incorporate this type of business, what is it that you need? You cannot go there alone. You cannot go there with your partner. You need at least 3 people for you to go register an NPC. Because why? Because we have said that it is because the intention is that it must benefit a group of people. So when you go register an NPC, it must be there to benefit a group of people, not just individuals, one or two people around, or one family. It must do for the benefit. Maybe for a family, you can still register it. Upon registration, there are 2 things that are needed. Like any other company, you still need to do the notice of incorporation and also need to do the memorandum of incorporation. Memorandum of incorporation, most of the time, I know for NPC that they require you to upload a memorandum of incorporation, and not use probably the standard one, because in the memorandum of incorporation is where you will stipulate who does the NPC supposed to be benefiting, and where will it be operating, and how will it be managed. Something like that will be part of the memorandum of incorporation. But before then, you cannot just register an NPC without having a place of business. And when we're looking at the place of business, if you are registering it in South Africa, the Republic of South Africa, you must have a registered office within the Republic of South Africa itself. You can't just open up an NPC and say, no, I'm going to open up an NPC, but I'm not going to do it in South Africa. I'm going to do it elsewhere. It doesn't work out that way. You might have to be able to do it within the country of South Africa, South African Republic. Number five that we're looking at is your annual returns. Annual returns, like any other company, are required 30 days after the anniversary of the company. If I register the company today, next year, 30 days from today, they will be required to say, what have you done? What have you um, gotten yourself into? Is the company, is the NPC operational or not? You have to bring all of those things together. Number six, we're looking at the annual financial statement. They are also required 6 months after the financial year, and you require to submit your financial statements so that we can see how things go. Number seven is financial year. Yes, you have to have a fixed financial year. You can't just decide to say, year one, we're going to have 12-month long financial year. Year two, because it's an NPC, we need to help people quickly. Let's make it 6 months long financial year, or let's make it 18-month or 24-month long financial year. It has to be fixed, but don't feel bad because you have also an opportunity to change the financial year. And if you want to make changes to a financial year, the NPC may change this by filling a form called a COR 25 with a CIPC, which must comply with whatever the CIPC requires you to do. Since you are an NPC, are you required to go get an auditor? The answer to that is you are not required. It's not compulsory for you to get an auditor, but you have to have an auditor if, number one, the company holds assets for another person and those assets are in excess of 5 million. If it is incorporated by the state or international entity, if, say, for instance, UNICEF is coming over to South Africa and it's an international company, then we need auditing for that. If a foreign state entity or a company, say for instance, this NPC is not based on, it's coming from another, it's because of another state. So for instance, Botswana wants to open up something for Botswana people in the embassy, and they want to do, a little company for that. They have to get auditors going on that side. It is incorporated to perform a statutory or regulatory, or it's a public function type of a thing, then we need auditors for that case. If an audit is not required, the company must have its annual financial statement independently reviewed. So you don't have to go with the auditor, but you have to have your financial statement reviewed by somebody else to say, oh, hang on a second, they do make sense. Your finances are in order. The 10th thing that we're looking at here is the company secretary. Is the company secretary required? Is it a requirement? The answer to that is it's just not compulsory for you to have a company secretary. If you are having an NPC, you can just go on without a company secretary. The other thing that we're looking at is the AGM. Is the annual general meeting required? Short answer to that is it depends on what you wrote on the MOI. So, for instance, if you have a company that benefits the local community, maybe the community would want to create, a community get together, and they would want to understand what's happening with the company. So that way, the community might say, we want an AGM. Minimum number of directors that are required. The minimum number of directors that are required are, you cannot go without, less than 3 directors. You have to have three, and most of them, I think, you already get your own titles in there to say who's going to be the chairman, who's going to be treasurer, who's going to be the secretary. You can still go on to get other ones on different portfolios that you can give each other, but one person has to be really, really responsible for opening it. Three people needs to be responsible. Minimum number of members that are required there, it does not have any members, but 3 or more persons are required to incorporate the NPC. So we do not go around saying, no, this is the member of an NPC, but you need 3 directors to incorporate the NPC. The offering of securities to the public, you cannot buy shares in an NPC. I cannot go over and say, oh, I realize now that the NPC is making a good impact. Can I buy into it? Or I've been a chairman of this NPC for a long time. Can you give me a piece of the NPC. We can't do that. There are no ways that you can do that. It remains then NPC for a specific reason that it was incorporated for, and it stays that way. Number 15, we're looking at keeping of company records. Like any other company, you are required to keep records. Doesn't mean because you have a community purpose, the community can decide to ban the library and ban your records in there. You are required to keep the records, and make sure that all the employees, all the volunteers, everybody else that got involved with the NPC, they are properly recorded and they're in the books, and we know when did they come in and when did they leave, so that when we come and ask for company records, we know they will be there. Whether it's expenses or it's the donations, every other record has to be well kept. The last one we're looking at is the regulatory body who is responsible to make sure that you comply. The regulatory body will be the CIPC. So anything else that you need, the Commission of Intellectual Property and Companies is the one that will tell you what is required, when is it required, and what you should do. What you're seeing right now on the screen is a summary of what we went through. Very, very quick summary. If you know somebody else who were thinking about bringing the community together and creating an NPC, and they are asking themselves where should they start, I know this was a quick overview, but please take a snapshot of this, send it to them, and say probably consider this thing. Are you thinking that you're going to be holding in excess of 5 million in somebody else's assets? You might need an auditor. Do you know what type of auditor would you get? Would you be able to have financial statement? Do you have 3 people? All of those questions that they should be considering before they go on. Thank you very much for watching this video and the previous ones, I'm assuming, where I was talking about the different type of companies. If you haven't, don't stress. The next one will also be discussing a little bit about companies. If you feel like you really, really want to get engaged with, want to start engaging with me, don't stress. Go to our website www.beinganalyst.co.za, beinganalyst.co.za, and I'll see you in the next video.